Trinidad and Tobago nationals travelling to the United Kingdom will now require a visa. The Home Office has confirmed that the new policy went into effect today. In response, Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Dr. Emery Brown notes that the move is within the UK's rights as a sovereign nation. Though he noted this country has indicated its disappointment to the UK government on the new visa requirement.
It was only a few months ago that we all received the news coming out of Trinidad and Tobago about the new visa requirement for Trinidadians entering the United Kingdom. And obviously, the government of the day, the PNM government, would not have been happy that something like this would happen under their leadership. But at no time have I ever got the impression that the PNM government was in denial as to why this new visa requirement. So to see this recent press conference from the new UNC government with the Foreign Affairs Minister coming out of Trinidad and Tobago as if they are revealing some news that we did not know, this was a bit shocking to me, because as far as I knew, the PNM government was well aware as to why this new visa requirement for Trinidad and Tobago. So to see this press conference, I'm not sure if this is just political gymnastic or what is going on, but this press conference, the UNC government came out as if they were breaking a news story that no one knew about. But we all knew about this from day one. So this is the press conference that I'm talking about coming out of Trinidad and Tobago from the new Foreign Affairs Minister.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago has officially revealed the primary reason behind the United Kingdom's decision to reimpose visa restrictions on its citizens. A massive, unprecedented spike in asylum claims. Here's more.
For months, the public was left to speculate, but on July 10th's post-cabinet briefing, the Foreign Affairs Minister confirmed that the UK took action after the number of Trinidad and Tobago nationals seeking asylum on its shores skyrocketed from an average of 15 per year to over 400.
What was revealed based upon that discussion is that a high and inordinate an extraordinary number of persons would have been leaving Trinidad and Tobago to go to the UK to claim asylum.
The minister stated that the majority of these applicants were citing Trinidad and Tobago's high crime rate, claiming to be direct victims of targeted gang activity and violence. The influx created a significant financial and logistical burden for the British government.
In order for the UK to properly ventilate the claim itself, it cost the British people around £65,000 per person. That is inclusive of cost to feed, house, and treat with the person during their stay in the UK. And it rose to, as I said before, extraordinary levels. I think the last figure was around 400 and something person, which was.
The government claims the previous administration was warned by UK authorities about the escalating situation, but failed to take corrective action, specifically by not passing legislation to share advanced passenger information. The new administration says it is now moving urgently to fix the situation.
That was never done. And based upon the lackadaisical or ineffective or nonchalant or non-existent approach to deal with that situation and not providing a solution.
So that's the new Foreign Affairs Minister from Trinidad and Tobago. And as I stated, if you are not following this story and you woke up and you saw this press conference, you would have the impression that the Foreign Affairs Minister is breaking some news that, look, this is the reason why the visa requirement for Trinidad and Tobago, because of Trinidadians applying for refugee status in huge numbers in the United Kingdom. But this was already revealed from day one. So this press conference was very confusing to me, because this is something that was not hidden. And just in case you don't remember, this is what came out of the British High Commission in Trinidad and Tobago just a few months ago.
From today, the 12th of March 2025, we are introducing a visitor visa requirement for nationals of Trinidad and Tobago travelling to the UK. This means that all Trinidad and Tobago nationals must obtain a visa before travelling to the UK for all visits. Trinidad and Tobago nationals will no longer be eligible to travel under the Electronic Travel Authorisation Scheme, and those planning to transit through the UK will now need a direct airside transit visa. In any country, including the UK, security, including border security, has to be our priority. We regularly review our visa and immigration policies to ensure they remain effective. On this occasion, there has been a significant increase in the number of unjustified asylum applications by Trinidad and Tobago nationals at the UK border. Unfortunately, the actions of a small minority have meant that our ministers have had to take the difficult decision to introduce a visa requirement. There will be a short transition period until 23rd of April 2025 for visitors who already have confirmed travel booking and an electronic travel authorization. You can find all the info about this period, all other requirements, and the application process on the UK government website at the link in the description. I understand that many of you will find this news disappointing, and that's why I wanted to explain it to you personally. Of course, here at the British High Commission, we will continue to work hand in hand with our friends and colleagues in Trinidad and Tobago to strengthen our partnership.
Okay, so that was a video that was posted by the British High Commissioner a few months ago, and everything was clear in that video as to the reason why the new visa requirement for Trinidadians trying to go to the United Kingdom. So as I said, this recent press conference was very confusing because it's not like they're revealing some new information that the public did not know. This was known from day one. So this to me is some political gymnastic, some unnecessary press conference. I'm not sure as to what the motive would have been for that press conference. But my opinion on this new visa requirement is that I believe that at some point people are going to have to be accountable. Because when you see this new visa requirement, the first thing that would come out is that this is United Kingdom, this is America, this is Canada trying to keep people from the Caribbean out of their country, and this is like some colonial tactics without taking accountability. And as a Jamaican, that we have had this visa requirement for over 20 years, and I remember traveling back 20 years ago as a Jamaican and even talking to other people from different Caribbean islands, and whenever we have a conversation, people would always point out to me that, look, it's you guys' fault. It's your fault as Jamaicans why you can't travel to the United Kingdom without a visa. And that was a common theme back in the day. Like nobody was saying that, look, Jamaicans are being attacked by the United Kingdom because of certain stands. No, people were adamant that, look, it's because of your involvement in crime. It's because of your involvement in drug trafficking. And a few Jamaicans made it bad for the entire population. And as a Jamaican trying to travel different places in the world and the hoops that you would have to go through to travel, I had to come to a point as a Jamaican and say, you know what? We have to take accountability. Yes, like whenever I'm traveling, it's an hassle for me as a Jamaican to travel. But I can't be in denial that, look, all of these restrictions that I had to go through was because of some of my own people choosing to do wrong in the UK. Here at Carib 21, I'm on a mission to showcase the vibrant culture and the breathtaking beauty of the Caribbean while showcasing our culture and what is trending. If you want to support me on this mission, please subscribe. And if you also want to support, you can hit the comment section and buy me a cup of coffee. In order to buy me a cup of coffee, you can follow these instructions. Just click more. You will see the link to buy me a cup of coffee. Click the link. You can purchase 1 or 2 cups of coffee and you'll be helping me to fulfill this mission. Thank you. And that is why Jamaica became the first West Indies island to have a visa requirement for the UK back in the days. And as I said, like I know people personally that went through like a hassle to go to the United Kingdom, like even before the visa requirement, when you could just jump on a plane as a Jamaican and go to the UK. I know people that would sell their car. I know people that would take out loan on their house and they would go to the UK. And at one point, they would turn you back. As a Jamaican, you'd get asked a lot of questions and you could fly to the United Kingdom. You could end up in London at one of the airports and be put on a plane and sent back to Jamaica. And that was some hassle that Jamaicans had to go through. And we had to come to a point as Jamaicans and just face the reality and say, yes, all the evidence shows that a lot of Jamaicans were involved in drug trafficking, going to the United Kingdom. And even though it was like a minority number of Jamaicans that were doing that, that is what caused the visa requirement for Jamaica. And we had to come to a point where we had to accept that. So I believe that this is what is happening with Trinidad and Tobago now. Because the thing is, if the numbers are showing that people are filing for large amount of refugee status in the United Kingdom, then you'd have to think that the government of the UK would have a right to impose a visa restriction because they want to make sure that their country is secure. Because the reality is that when you file for refugee status, what you're really doing is that you're entering a country, you have not paid into the system, you have not worked, you have not contributed with taxes into that country. But as was stated, is that up over £60,000 per person for refugee status. So that is a burden on any government. So you'd have to understand why a government would do that. And even in Trinidad and Tobago now, where the government in Trinidad and Tobago, like they're grappling with people from Venezuela pouring into the country and burdening the system with the government. I think that the government of Trinidad and Tobago should understand that more than any other government in the Caribbean right now. So I think it's all about accountability. I think it's just unfortunate that Trinidad and Tobago, they're going to have to pay for visas to go to the United Kingdom. This is when they enjoy the privilege of just getting up with your passport and going to the UK for up to 6 months, and now you're going to have to pay a hefty fee to get a visa to go to the UK. And as I said, like, as a Jamaican, a lot of Jamaicans can tell you that even after paying the visa fee, even after showing all the documents that, look, I have a job in Trinidad and Tobago, I'm secure, I have a house in Trinidad and Tobago, you could still pay that hefty fee and still be denied entry to the United Kingdom. And that is just unfortunate because the majority of people always pay the price for what a few people decides to do. So guys, sound off in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on this one. What do you think about the recent press conference from the new Foreign Affairs Minister? Was that necessary? Because we knew already, it was said from day one that the reason for the visa requirement was because of the number of refugee status that was filed in the United Kingdom. Why was this press conference necessary? Is this like a political thing? Sound off in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on this one. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. And remember, peace. I'm out.